Picture this. You're at a coffee shop, and that latte costs $5. Your grandfather tells you that back in his day, the same coffee cost just 25 cents. You might think he's exaggerating, but he's not. This isn't just about inflation. There's a deeper, more systematic reason why currencies lose their purchasing power over time. And understanding this could completely change how you think about money and investing. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this happens and what you can do to protect yourself. Let's start with something simple. Imagine you travel back to the 1970s with a crisp $100 bill. Back then, that money could pay for a week of groceries, several restaurant meals, and still leave you with change. But today, the same $100 barely fills half your cart. So what happened? Here's the disturbing part. This didn't happen because the world got more expensive. It happened because your money got weaker. It didn't lose value suddenly. It didn't collapse overnight. It leaked value, slowly, quietly, constantly. You don't see it happening. You don't get a notification. There's no warning. But every single hour of every single day, something is draining your money's power. And you might think, who's doing this? But it's not a person, it's not a company, it's the system. And to understand how the system started, we have to go back to a moment in history when everything changed. The year is 1971. The United States is facing economic pressure, rising costs, and growing financial strain. President Richard Nixon makes an announcement that seems technical at first. He says the U.S. will no longer allow dollars to be exchanged for gold. But this decision didn't just affect the U.S., it changed the entire global economy. Before 1971, money represented something real, gold. If you had $1, it meant you could exchange it for a fixed amount of gold whenever you wanted. It was a promise, a guarantee, a limit on how much money could exist. After 1971, that guarantee disappeared. Money no longer represented gold. It represented trust. Trust in the government, trust in banks, trust in the system, and trust, unlike gold, can be stretched. Some countries didn't like the decision. Some felt betrayed, but none of them had a choice. Because once the world's largest economy changed, everyone else had to follow. And this was the moment, the exact moment, when currencies started losing value faster and faster. Because after 1971, something became possible, something dangerous. Governments could create money out of thin air, the real reason currencies lose value. And that brings us to the force that drains your wallet without you noticing: money printing. Governments print money when they need to pay for things they can't afford. Wars, crises, bailouts, debts, programs, emergencies. You never see the printing machines. You never hear them running. But the effect hits you every time you buy groceries, fill your tank, or pay rent. Here's the simplest way to understand it. Imagine you're holding a cup of juice. It's strong, flavorful, concentrated. Now imagine someone adds more water, then more, and more. It still looks like juice, but the taste gets weaker. Your money works the same way. The more currency that gets added into the system, the weaker the existing currency becomes. Your dollars, euros, rupees, pesos, all of them are just diluted juice. But here's the twist. Even if governments stopped printing money tomorrow, your currency would still keep losing value. How? Why? For that, we need to talk about inflation. Not the scary headlines, not the numbers on TV, but the silent version that never goes away. The silent killer, compounding inflation. Most governments target an inflation rate of around 2 to 3% per year. That sounds small, almost harmless. But here's the part they never tell you. A small percentage repeated every year becomes a huge loss over time. If inflation stays at just 3% per year, after 10 years, your money loses 26% of its value. After 20 years, it loses 45%. After 30 years, it loses more than 60%. And that's during normal times. If inflation spikes, like it has over the last decade, the damage gets even worse. Think of inflation like a thief. Not a loud one, not one who kicks down your door, a quiet thief, one who sneaks into your house while you sleep, takes a little every night, and leaves without a trace. You work harder, you save more, but the thief keeps hitting you. And here's the worst part. Inflation doesn't affect everyone equally. Those who own assets, property, businesses, investments, often benefit. Their assets rise with inflation, but those who only have cash lose the most. This isn't a problem limited to one country. It's not just the US or Europe or any single region. Almost every government in the world is trapped in the same cycle. They borrow money, they owe money, they need more money to pay back old money, so they print. Sometimes directly, sometimes indirectly. But the result is always the same. More currency enters the system, and every new wave of currency pushes the value of the existing currency down. You might think, why can't countries just stop printing money? Because they can't. Most countries owe so much debt that stopping would collapse their economies. Printing is the only way to survive. It's like being stuck on a treadmill that never slows down. But what does this mean for your money? So here's the truth. Currencies will continue to lose value, year after year, decade after decade. It's not a mistake. It's not a glitch. It's not temporary. It's the design. The dollar, the euro, the yen, the rupee. Almost every currency on Earth is built on a system where money is created faster than value. And as long as governments need to borrow, spend, and respond to crises, currencies will keep decaying. So what can you do? You don't protect yourself by holding currency. You protect yourself by holding value. Value that governments can't print. Value that doesn't dilute. Value that grows over time. This could mean assets, investments, commodities, or anything backed by real-world scarcity. Because the simple truth is, currencies fade, value stays. And understanding this, truly understanding it, puts you ahead of most people. While others watch their purchasing power disappear year after year, you'll know exactly why it's happening and what to do about it. If this opened your eyes even a little, imagine what the next video will do. Hit that subscribe button so you never fall behind the system again.